Hey there, entrepreneur. Welcome back to the Scale to Sell podcast. This is episode number 41, what this business owner learned from an exit planning conference. So Steve, you and I, we both believe in being learners for life. But oftentimes for us, that looks like books or podcasts or things that we're learning from online sources and trainings and things like that. So for us, it's typically a big deal if we're going to go somewhere, especially after COVID, to go to a conference, to invest the time, the change in schedule, the things to go somewhere, be around other people, network, and learn. And we actually had that opportunity just this past week to be at two different conferences. One of them, the big one, was this exit planning conference that you were at. And we were just talking about all of the different things, the takeaways that you learned, not just as someone who is in the exit planning space, coaching people, helping people, a part of that team that's been there, that's understands what goes into these types of decisions, but also from the perspective of a business owner yourself, your takeaways and what you were hearing from all the different speakers and the different professionals from across the industry about these topics. And you were pretty excited. We have 5 main talking points here today, but I'm pretty sure he's going to cover some bonus ones too, because that's about how our conversation was going this morning.
There was a number of ones that popped up after we had the conversation. And the conference was about 1,000 exit planners. There were, I'm sure there were business owners there. There were, of course, people in our space, financial advisors. There was M&A experts. There were attorneys. There were a whole group of people. And it was like a fire hose, seriously, a fire hose of information, one after the other. And it was so much content, but it was good. A lot of it was good. And it's like any conference you go to, you hope to pick up a nugget or two. Well, I picked up a whole flock of nuggets
here.
Whole
backpack worth of nuggets.
We'll share at least a few of them with you today.
Awesome. Okay. So we'll get started with our list and then we'll see where the bonus ones take us. So we'll just, we'll go from there. The first one that we're going to talk about is is really getting inside the mind of the entrepreneur. And some of the key points that you heard them talk about and really dive into included the idea that the age of the owner drives the exit timeline, which I'm sure is going to be a fascinating one. Owners' fear of leaving money on the table was impactful in their decisions, and how important industry expertise is when it comes to making these types of decisions.
No doubt about it. If you have a 401k or an IRA or a brokerage account, you can manage it yourself sometimes. But that doesn't mean you do the best job. You panic, you move too often. But the challenge or the point with business owners, one, they don't know the value of this asset. And they're so ingrained and so involved in the day-to-day operations, as we say, working in the business instead of on the business, that they can't step back and take a look at things. So you need to have a team of experts in this space and people that have been there, done that. And so, I think that's good. And I've learned that, it's like having a mentor. I've said many times my own self, I struggled for a number of years in other businesses that I own. And then all of a sudden out of the blue, I found somebody that became a mentor in that business, not the financial services business, but another business. And my life changed immediately. So I learned the value of mentorship or coaches or having a board of directors, so to speak, and somebody that can help you grow your business. And so working on the business. So one, if you're going to grow it, or if you're looking to exit, the other thing I picked up, and I know this from my own personal experience helping business owners, you're not just going to wake up one day and go, hey, I'm ready to sell. Okay, you may be ready to sell, but is your business ready to sell?
Is it? Yeah.
All right. Are you financially ready to sell? Is the marketplace say your business is ready to sell? And so it takes sometimes, I'd say at least a year, in a lot of cases, 2 or 3 years. So the sooner actually you can start, if you're going to build, we say exit planning is good business planning, because if your business is ready, if you're ready to exit your business, then your business is probably streamlined, functional. You have a team, you have processes and things in place that is valuable, and or you can grow the business. If it's like that, you don't have to be in there handling every little firestorm or whatever. So you got to have a team. You should have some mentors, people that have been there. I don't care how successful you are. There's people that are more successful than you.
Yeah.
And so having that team, that's invaluable. That I already knew that, but it was kind of come back around to us to have people. It's like if we take a business to market, if we help a company, I have a team. We have an M&A expert. Jeff Snell's been on here with us before. He's the M&A guy. He doesn't pay me. I don't pay him. We have attorneys. Well, I've got an attorney, Steve. Yeah, but your attorney that did your corporate charter is not necessarily the one that's going to do the documents when you sell this large asset. We have tax people, a tax team to help not only keep your taxes low today, but if you have a large opportunity to sell your business, you don't want the government to end up with 25, 40, 50% of it. So we have a tax team that can help make. So have a team of experts around you, whether you're looking to grow your business or exit the business. It's always good to have a team. That's one of the big pickups. Right?
Yeah. And even before that, so that kind of gets us to number 2, exit planning is a team sport. The idea of, from the perspective of the business owner, think about what the knowledge of that team really gives you. Confidence and peace of mind to make the decisions that you need to make. And at the same time, being able to process what's going on around you. And it gives you an idea of what you should be working on. So it's not just a guess. It's not just the pressures of getting older and dealing with the business are now going to push me towards this decision or that decision because I haven't been planning for it. I haven't been thinking about it proactively. So now I've kind of limited my choices. Or owner's fear of leaving money on the table, right? By having that team, you're speaking into their situation there by helping them understand what they have, what are their financial needs, what could the sale of business or their other assets in combination with that do for them long term. You've got all of those things. One of our phrases is exit planning is present tense. It's not something I'm going to get to down the road. It's the little things that we do here and now that are setting us up to have all of the options that we want to whenever that time comes to make a change in our lives and our businesses.
Let's go back to that one about all that's 100% true.
Thanks.
But let's go back to the leaving money on, and whether they're a baby boomer, Generation X, or whoever it is they fear leaving money on the table. Well, what does that mean? Have you had your business valuated recently? What is the current value? Is that realistic? Who did it? Was it a credentialed person that had the expertise and has been there, done that before? Is it realistic? Not just telling you a number that you want to hear so maybe they get the listing in the future, but a realistic number. And is it a number that if you do harvest that, minus fees and taxes, is it a number large enough that will allow you to maintain your lifestyle and go on and live your best life? And so also they're talking about future value. And I like that one too. So know your current value and protect that current value. Just because you've seen businesses that were, doing well, and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore, closing locations, out of business. And so you got to grow it. You got to know it. You got to protect it. But what will the future value? So when is it your timeline to harvest? When do you want to exit? Well, I want to exit in 3 years or 5 years. Well, here's a projection of what that business on your current run rate. We have software programs and other experts, teammates that can project into the future and show you the trend that you're on. If this trend continues, is that the number? Is that if you know that number and you can protect it and maybe even grow it, then you're not leaving money on the table is what I'm trying to get at.
Absolutely. It goes to having the information available to give you the clarity that you need to make an informed decision. And having that team around you that knows what they're doing and knows, even too, we talk about the intangible capitals all the time, the things that drive the value of the business that can make you the best in class and get you kind of that edge in the deal that you would make because of the quality of the teams, of the customer relationships, the structural capital of the systems that you've put into place, and the culture of the company that really make it something that goes beyond just the numbers on a page, but something that is very attractive for a business buyer to be looking at. All of those things are crucial. So number one, looking inside of the mind of the business owner, of the entrepreneur, and thinking, okay, how do we provide clarity and get rid of this decision-making or concern based on fear of the unknown and things like that? By number two, having that exit team and that team around you that really gives you the guidance that you need. Number three, I love this quote. I'm a quote person, and you caught on to this one. You sent me this while you were at the conference from Eleanor Roosevelt. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all by yourself.
I've tried. And so anyway, it's true. And that's what, you go to mentors because they've been there. Well, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. That's a great idea, but try this because here's the reason, because they've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have coaches in place, right? To keep you from making major mistakes. Sometimes I've advised people to not buy a piece of real estate or buy a piece of real estate or do this or do that. And because, hey, it could work out well, or here's how it could end up too in your situation. So, but yeah, I love that one too. Other people's experiences, other people's mistakes, learn from that. They talk about other people's money. Well, you want to have more money, learn from other people's mistakes and don't quit making the same ones. And sometimes it doesn't even feel like it's a mistake, but you're just stuck and you're not seeing growth, or you're having these same challenges time after time. And that's why you learn from what are other people doing to take this burden off of me, make it run, this part of my business run smoother so I don't have to revisit it every few months.
Oh, for sure. How can I shorten that learning curve so that I can get through that, move on to other things, and avoid the potholes that no one wants to run into there. Some of the stats that you shared for number 4, the family business stats that are just overwhelming in terms of the scale of some of these things, but just highlight just how important this is for small business owners to get some of these choices that we're talking about right. So over 32 million small businesses in the United States in 2023. That represents over $38 trillion in sales, and 90% of small businesses are family owned. There's a lot of factors that go into that show just how important all of these decisions are for those individual owners, but also their legacies and the continuities of the business that they've put their blood, sweat, and tears into. It's
a big number. It impacts the overall economy.
Yeah.
Local economy, state economy, national economy, because you're talking about $38 trillion in annual sales, a big number, employing a lot of people. But to the point about the 90%, you've heard us say the stats before. The stats say only about 30% of all business owners will ever successfully hand the baton off to the next generation, their kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whoever it might be. And so if 90% of small businesses are owned by families, then and only 30% of them successfully sell, either you want to be part of that 30 or even increase that number. What can you do to increase the odds? So if you're going to hand it off to your kids, you better make sure that they have the team and processes in place to do the things. Maybe you're great at one thing and they're not that good at it. Well, maybe they can farm that out and bring somebody in and delegate that work in that situation. It can be done. Somebody's not great at books. Well, there's bookkeepers and payroll services and other people that can do that type of stuff. And but how can we increase those odds? Many people are like, for legacy purposes, to hand it off. Their dream is, I've worked here, it's benefited us, I would like for the kids to take over. Sometimes the kids don't want it. There is that. So if they are going to take it over, or another, even if they don't, if you have systems and processes, teams in place, documented and just recorded, it's either going to be better for your kids if they do assume the business, and or it's going to be better for whoever if you go to market and bring a higher multiple. The other thing, and one of the other speakers there was talking about, you're really doing the kids and or yourself and over the overall economy a disservice if you are the bank. If you finance 100% of the business, what happens if they default? What happens if they're married and their marriage ends in divorce? How can that impact your business? Now you're going to have to foreclose on the business, take it back, or maybe they just run it in the ground and maybe you don't get all your money. Even if you do, we believe there should be at least some liquidity and a liquidity event. Let's say you're going to sell it to them and the market value is $4 million. And you're going to give them a family discount of $3 million. Already you're taking it on the chin a bit right there. Well, you should probably get at least half of that up front there. And then if you want to be the bank for the other part, most of the time we think that you shouldn't be the bank at all. You should have that liquidity event, mitigate taxes, and walk on to the next chapter. But all kinds of talking points right here.
And I think this is really what you're getting at with number 5, why gifting a family business to the next generation is destroying family wealth.
It is, because what I just said, you did, and I kind of jump started there, as I have a tendency to do.
It's okay.
And anyway, but if you do that, you sell it to your kids for a discount. So you're automatically doing something. Some cases you sell it over time, and I've seen it work out perfectly and work out well, but in many cases it doesn't. So what they're trying to get out right there is that, as I mentioned, if you buy a house and you're renting it to your kids and they get jammed up, the bank is not going to be forgiving. They could stop making the mortgage payment, or the, landlords stop making the rent payment. They're going to foreclose on them. They don't have any skin in the game. They don't have any of those, love, and hugs. And anyway, so it can make the family get-togethers awkward in the future if they quit paying you or not paying you or run the business in the ground. And anyway, there's just any number of reasons where it's not a good opportunity. You should not be the bank for 100% of the sale of the business to your heirs. If let's say you have 3 kids, and the one kid is taking over the business and the other 2 aren't involved, then that sometimes causes a rift, some, tension within the family situation. And so again, if you sell it to them, they buy it, then it looks at it differently or whatever. So
yeah, that's good. Okay. So those are the 5. I'm going to recap those, and then I'm sure we're going to talk about some other things.
We are.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So number 1, thinking inside of the mind of the entrepreneur. How do we overcome the fear of the unknown? Again, by number 2, bringing in the exit team that's going to help provide that perspective and can give us the information that we need to make good, confident decisions in an informed way. Number 3, learn from the mistakes of others. You don't have to make them all yourself. You don't have time to make them all yourself, so you might as well learn from others and shortcut that learning curve. Number 4, the family business stats, really highlighting the importance of having a plan, of having systems and processes in place. And then number 5, how you transfer matters, and why gifting a family business to the next generation is destroying family wealth. So what are some of the other takeaways that you had from the conference?
Well, just a few. Let's talk about AI for a second. So I sat in one breakout session, and the lady was talking about AI. AI is on the top of everybody's tongue, but how do you use it? How do you take it and use it in your situation, your business? It can be used for all kinds of different things, of course. But, having people that have been there, done that. In this one situation, she took a business, and I think that within just a few years' time, they went from $10 million a year in sales to $50 million a year in sales based on AI, and using strategies there to help them streamline and improve their sales, both in marketing and other things. So how does AI impact in your life? There's conversations that we can have to direct you, and you need to get in front of the right people to help how it's going to be part of your business. It is altering every business in the world.
Well, and part of it too is, a lot of business owners assume, or might assume, that AI, that when they have these conversations, that just means, the prompt that they type into ChatGPT, as if like that is the extent to what AI can do for a business. And there's definitely a difference between just using it for brainstorming or for coming up with different ideas and content type things, versus some of the other major things that AI is being used to create and streamline in businesses that are changing the game for how we operate.
Absolutely. How the consumer researches things, how you sell, how your marketing works. So AI, anyway, I'm sure we'll probably have an expert on in the future to talk about that situation. So that was definitely, top of mind or whatever. And that got me thinking. You sit in one session, your mind starts spinning. You go, that's the important thing. Then you go out to other things. Another thing, you probably heard in earlier podcasts, I had the opportunity of being an executive producer on a movie about mergers and acquisitions. It's a documentary that we played at a number of different theaters around the country. And in there, they had a storyline that this film director puts together in all of his films when it regards an industry such as financial services, in this case, businesses. Yeah. And it had this couple in there, and this guy was approached by a company, unsolicited offer, and they came in and gave him a really high multiple. And then over the next 3 or 6 months, did everything to bang that multiple up, drag him down, and then ultimately bought it at a discount. Well, somebody else talked about that at the thing too. So as a warning to you business owners, somebody comes out, a bid, solicited, unsolicited, or whatever, you got to be careful right there, because the tendency is to watch your bottom line. You're going to back off your marketing and other things, maybe capital expenditures that you should make, maybe you shouldn't make or whatever. But if it's going to hurt the business, but there are companies out there, there are companies, small and large private equity firms that are snapping up businesses, maybe a competitor, and they give you an offer, and then all of a sudden they start beating it up. It drags on, it drags on, it drags on. And your business is now, you went from guineas and now you're just totally burnt out. Yeah. You just want to be done with it and you settle. So that was another conversation, not so positive, but it's just a warning sign out there. One more thing is that the amount of baby boomers, and we focus on baby boomers. There's about 3 million baby boomer business owners that will be exiting or want to exit over the next 5 years, representing around $10 trillion of money that hopefully will successfully go into the owner's pockets. But then right behind them, I didn't even think about this, Generation Xers are right behind them. And the oldest one of them right now is turning 60. So there's a good number of those that are starting to think about it. Then I think about the millennials. The oldest millennials are now pushing in to their 40s. And so even them, some cases, are looking to get out of this business and move on. My point is, you want to grow your business, doing it properly through the correct acquisition, where you don't overpay, where you get a strategy, a company that you buy into. It could be a really good way to grow your business in your own marketplace. Or one of the things I did in my own financial services business about 19 years ago. I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area, Virginia. I had an opportunity of Richmond, Virginia is about 120 miles away from here. And I had the opportunity, it took me about 6 months to develop the area, but I doubled my income within 6 months, and it's been a really strong, productive market for me. And now it's even better because now I can do most of my meetings, Zoom meetings, and not have to make that 120-mile drive once or twice a week or whatever. So acquisitions, it will allow you to grow. And I've done that myself and bought other people out where it's been really profitable for me too. Made mistakes earlier in my career where I bought another business in another industry where it did not work out as positively. So you want to make sure you have your team. If you're going to acquire a business, have your team, run the numbers, make sure the numbers are real, and make sure everything is good. So acquisitions, making sure somebody doesn't scam you or whatever. And even though it's not a scam, there's just people out there that will drive down the value, give you a high number, drive down the value, and still want to buy you, but do it at a discount. That's not good. I don't like that.
Yeah, not a fun way to go through that whole process. I mean, to the point where you're just like, let it be done. But unfortunately, like you were saying, hard situations. But again, going back to having a team of people around you who have been there, who know what to look for, who can help guide you, right? Those questions about, what should I be doing now that I've got this offer in terms of the marketing, in terms of investments in your business? A lot of that goes back to having the wisdom of people who've been there to give you that perspective on good idea, bad idea, not sure how to go about this, really help you out there.
So if you have an exit, let's say somebody's going to sell their business for $5 million. They net $5 million. You're going to have to pay some capital gains on that. One other thing, a strategy to reduce capital gains by sometimes 50 to 75%. Doesn't work in all the cases, but wealthy people of affluence didn't get to be that way by accident. Yeah. They have experts. They have a team. So if you do hey, I'm going to sell my business I'm going to get $5 million. Well, you and the government are going to get $5 million. How much of it you want to keep? We want to do everything legally possible to mitigate Uncle Sam to make sure you keep more money in your pocket. So legacy planning, tax planning, the whole thing, whether you're looking to grow your business or exit a business. And that's what Scale to Sell in our podcast and all the other things that we do is all about.
Well, and what I appreciate about that, what you were just saying, is the idea of when you talk to business owners, most of the time they're told by their current, CPAs or other advisors, oh, you just have to write the check, right? Like just suck it up and pay it.
It's true.
But to know that there could be other opportunities out there to do that is like light bulb moment, right? You've got a potential option that you should consider that could really help you out when it comes to those types of things. 2 conferences a week, not a norm for us, but we'll take it when it's this type of information that's helping us and helping you through what we talk about here on the podcast and in the conversations that we have every day with business owners. So if you have questions, whether it's about getting clarity on the value of your business, having that growth and exit team around you to be able to help answer those questions, provide the guidance that you need to grow strategically and to exit on your terms, go to scaletosell.com/value, scaletosell.com/value, or click the link in the show notes below and fill out that form. We'd love to be able to contact you to get that free valuation done by our team. Absolutely incredible opportunity. Save you thousands potentially, right? Typically between $5,000 and $20,000 there. Big deal to get a lot of clarity in your business and to really give you a good starting point as to where to go from here. Great place to start. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. We would love to be able to answer them. And until next time, look forward to have you on the podcast for episode number 42. We got a good one, special guest coming up with Mike Tarr. You don't want to miss that one, by the way. Until next time, keep scaling.
Thank you for listening to Scale to Sell with Adam Burton and Steve Burton. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.scaletosell.com or give us a call at 757-313-4080. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Scale to Sell. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing, tax, legal, or other advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified professionals with any questions you may have regarding your personal or professional plans. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.